the live stream. We live streaming. Can't get the people up in here now. There we go. What's up, people? Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? We got guests in the house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got two guests riding with us. That's right. We got Reggie Wright Jr. and Greg Kading on the phone with us, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I see y'all sneaking in. What's up, Just Because? What up, LL Sneak Brown? Everybody, how y'all doing? How's it going? The family, I appreciate y'all. What's up? The Aces in here. What's up, Jerome Bailey? Dangalo Jr., what's up? Greg S., what's up, Greg? I'm going to grant your wish, Greg, and make it happen for you, Greg. You are now, you're a moderator now, Greg. Welcome to the family. What up, Mob? How you feeling? Good, good, good. Tashama Walker, what's going on with you? Okay, AJ, my boy, that's AJ. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into it. I said enough. What's up? Y'all know what's up. If I miss anybody, don't be mad at me. We'll get that shit on the next one. Y'all know how we do. So what's going on, Greg and Reggie? Y'all in the house with us tonight. What's good?
Well, I'm just on my way to L.A. I'm going to go sit down with some people and watch this second episode. So that's my plan. I'm about ready to hit the road.
Okay.
Okay. You haven't watched it yet, huh?
The second episode, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch the 10 o'clock showing.
Oh, okay.
Looking good so far.
Yeah, we just watched.
I'm gonna give. Let me say this real quick, and I'm gonna say the production side of it looks damn good. From what I see, is better than the All Eyes on Me movie. I'm gonna get at the props live over the air, so everybody know what's going on. If I offend somebody, I really don't give a fuck. But anyway, so Greg, let's get into it. Reggie, let's get on into it now. Let's start off with this, okay? Let's kill all these theories right now about this goddamn chain being snatched at the mall. Greg, did Trayvon really get his chain, death row chain, snatched at the mall, or it was an attempted to snatch it? How did that happen?
Well, based on the best information from the guys that were there, they got it and they got it back. So it was K-Dub and Trayvon Lane and a couple of guys, a few guys from Southside Crips, including Orlando Anderson. They squabbled. Evidently, the chain got ripped off of Trayvon's neck, and then they got it back. Is that the story you heard, Reg?
Yeah, that's how I heard it as well. Only thing that's the difference that it happened inside the World Foot Locker, not outside the mall. That's the only thing different than what you guys showed.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So, is it true that there was a big-ass brawl inside of this Foot Locker store that they tore it up over this chain? Is that true or is that false?
Yeah, that's how I heard it. I knew that the store was closed down for a couple of days, how I understood it and heard it. I don't know what information Greg got, but I know that it was closed down for like 2 days for them to get it back together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg. I don't want to cut you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We'll just leave that.
No, because I've heard the rumors, from certain individuals said that it didn't happen. Someone in the Foot Locker, they claimed that they went and investigated it themselves, and the person in the Foot Locker said that there was no footage of it, and it never happened. It didn't happen in the mall, in the Foot Locker.
Yeah. Well, listen, it happened. That's all. I think the best information that we had was the parking lot. They all saw each other in the Foot Locker, and that's where they started to kind of eye fuck each other. But then it got out into the parking lot. Of course, a fight like that happens. Everybody takes off. Nobody wants to sit around and wait for the police to come and have to deal with that. So that's why there was no police report. It wasn't like these guys are street dudes. They know what's up. You hit and run. You don't stand around and wait for the cops to come put handcuffs on you. So it's not unusual at all that it wasn't reported to the police. But, we have firsthand information from guys from both sides of that altercation that were there and told the stories about it. So, what's the point in making it all up? Benefit, right?
Okay.
No, that's for real.
Facts is facts. You 100% right. Now, Reggie, this is a question for you, Reggie. Okay, now, Reggie, you've been blamed for being the cause of Tupac's death for damn near 22 years. What about Frank? Does Frank hold some of the blame for Tupac's death? What went wrong? Okay, yes. Does Frank hold any blame?
Well, the blame in my mind that he holds is just not making the call to let us know what had happened, and just to put us on tip tops to make a decision, which I probably wouldn't have made a decision to put more people on him or to send somebody over there with him or anything like that, because I knew how they were rolling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the homie security and the people in the entourage, in my opinion, was more qualified than my guard.
Okay.
You know, to handle a situation like that, driving to the location.
Okay.
Like I said, I always employed my guards to be good witnesses and just to communicate with the police.
Mm-hmm.
My guys was pretty much there just to, so those type of guys wouldn't have to get on the stand and testify when something go down, or mainly to talk to the police and say, hey, officer, you know, can you give my guys a break? You know, I'm working with them, and you know, I'll talk to them and I'll keep them cool.
Okay.
That's mainly what my security was there for. As far as going putting hands on people and getting into something, that's what the homie security was for, and that's what they would have did. They would have told my guys to step back. We're in the nightclub and something about to go down. They would say, step back. Let me handle this, Reg.
Okay.
And that has happened on many occasions.
Okay, so once again, like I said, we got the homeboy security and we got your security, which were the professionals. And, you know, the homeboys, okay, that's what they were their jobs to do what they needed to do as far as, you know, putting in the dirty work. And your security team was the professionals, like Big Frank and Michael Moore and the rest of the guys.
Yeah. And you're about to learn about Rich McCulley and stuff like that. It seems like they're trying to make an issue with Rich,
Okay.
which Rich wasn't even there until after the shooting, but he did some work at the hospital for me.
Okay.
But y'all, I guess you did get more into Rich McCulley, you know.
Most definitely. Now, okay, now, Greg, this is for you. Now, your investigation started with Dwayne Keffe D. Davis. Did Keffe D prove to be credible or a waste of time in your book?
Yeah, so Keffe D's proven to be absolutely credible. Everything he told us checked out. Everything he told us made perfect sense. Everything he told us lined up with known facts. And everything he told us he knew had to be true. Otherwise, he was facing really serious consequences. So, you know, you put it all together, and there's no reason to doubt what he said.
Okay.
He had a motivation to tell the truth. He had no motivation to lie.
Okay. Now, Greg.
Real, can I interject and ask one?
Sure, go ahead.
Can I ask one question along that line?
Please.
Greg, and this is a question I get asked a lot, and I see in a comment section a lot, and I never really know the correct way to answer it. They always ask, how were you able to give him an immunity agreement for a Las Vegas homicide?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. I know you was on a federal task force, but how was, you know, and I pretty much think the U.S. attorneys and the states work together, but if you can explain how you was able to do that, or if he did get an immunity agreement on the homicide and not just the drug case, if you can explain that. Okay.
Sure. So there's some technicalities here, and the details of these technicalities are really important. So Keffe D did not get immunity from anybody. What Keffe D got was something called protection from self-incrimination. Okay. You know, if a bunch of other people stepped up and said, hey, Keffe D was involved, he was in the car, he handed the gun, well, we could prosecute Keffe D based on all of that additional information. The only agreement we had with Keffe, which was based on an L.A. drug case, it was not based on a Las Vegas murder case. The agreement was based on an L.A. drug case. And we said, sit down, tell us what you know, tell us the truth. We'll consider giving you some consideration in your drug case. And whatever you say here today can't be used against you. So you're only protected from self-incrimination. that you're not protected from prosecution.
Okay. Okay. Now, people, you know now. Here you go. Greg just answered that. And anything else you want to ask him, Reg? Or, we can keep it going on.
Yeah, I did. So
Go ahead.
based on that, and how he's been talking lately on the shows and stuff like that, and pretty much putting himself in the car, can if you get a crazy DA or a Las Vegas cop that want to go and be motivated and handle this case, can they go after him currently based on that?
Absolutely. So his confession to us is protected against self-incrimination. But when he steps out into the public forum like he has recently and starts to incriminate himself about being in the car and being involved in the conspiracy, that information can absolutely be used against him. And it ought to be. Las Vegas ought to be on his doorstep right now, putting handcuffs on him and arresting him and then forcing the district attorney to make the decision whether they want to prosecute him or not. But the police department, in my opinion, ought to be stepping up. They have a guy confessing to the murder. Now it's the DA's decision whether to prosecute. But at least do your job. At least do what your job is, and that's to conduct an investigation and effect an arrest.
Wow.
And then the critics will say, well, why didn't you guys do that?
Because we didn't have that option.
And it wasn't your jurisdiction. Yeah.
Well, no, technically, if he is telling us that he was part of a solicitation to commit murder, if he had conversations in Los Angeles, and that's where the plan to kill Tupac happened, then that is solicitation. It's a crime in Los Angeles that we could take action on.
But let's just throw out the meeting at the sandwich shop. Let's just throw out, just based on what he's been talking about. Let's throw out the meeting at the sandwich shop. Just based on what. If we throw that out, then yeah, it's strictly a Las Vegas issue. But nonetheless, we could make an arrest based on that and then hand it off to Las Vegas. And here's the thing. Again, we're basing this on his confession. We can't use his confession against him. Yeah.
But now, because he's gone outside of the agreement with law enforcement, that information can absolutely be used against him, and it ought to be.
Oh, for a fact, for sure.
A jury should get to decide whether or not he's telling the truth or not us.
Okay.
So what other evidence do you have other than a statement? Because I can go with the cop out the killer and shooting on JFK, and that just because I'm crazy enough to say something stupid like that, and I was only 2 years old at the time, But I'm just saying, based on just a statement, which all he has, what other evidence do you have?
Well, you're going to have to provide, because now you have some evidence that actually can say it's a validated confession based on the information that he said. He admits to being involved in the conspiracy, and then you can start to introduce all the circumstantial evidence to support it.
Okay. I'm sorry, Rail. Go ahead.
No problem. No. Okay, I'm glad that you brought up Vegas, right? Okay. Do you feel as the LVMPD did a thorough job on investigating the murder of Tupac Shakur, or you just think they just swept the shit under the rug and said, hey, we really don't want to be bothered with this shit because it was a bunch of gangbangers and thugs, just doing what they were doing here in our town?
I think initially they're motivated to solve a crime. That's what we do. It's our job. We take it seriously. We want to solve crimes. But you can start to adopt that attitude about your case when nobody's cooperating. When the people that are in a position to really help you, to tell you what happened, when you're not getting the information and the cooperation that you expect, then you can start to think, well, fuck it then. If they don't care enough to solve it, why should we care? And that's not the right attitude to have, but certainly that attitude does at times take place in law enforcement investigations.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that was the attitude. I'm not saying that was the attitude of these detectives. You'd have to ask them personally how they felt, what they thought. I'm just simply suggesting that it can be very frustrating when nobody's cooperating with you and you can't make any progress without cooperation. At some point in time, you just kind of give up, or you lose your motivation.
Okay. Now, is that I want to ask a question because one of the family members asked me to ask you this question. That you know of, was Tupac involved in any other altercation in Las Vegas before the Orlando Anderson attack that day?
Not Tupac, no,
Not
no,
Tupac.
not
Okay.
the Tupac was. There was we have information that there was a little bit of a face off, a little bit of a confrontation inside the arena where some words were expressed, and supposedly Suge Knight said something to the effect of, we're untouchable or something to that effect. So there was a little bit of a there was already some animosity and some tension before the confrontation with Orlando Anderson.
Okay. Now, Wendy Diaz, she's a good family member, and she asked this question, and I wanted to know this a minute myself. Okay, allegedly there was FBI members following Tupac and Biggie that night that were in the entourages, and during this shooting, not one federal agent with how highly trained they are to observe everything around them, no one saw what happened. Is that true?
Well, I didn't catch all of. You're breaking up a little bit. So
Okay.
I'm going to answer the question to the degree that I think I understood. You're asking like, how could these highly trained people not really see anything?
Right.
And you've got to keep in mind. You've got to keep in mind how quickly these things take place.
Mm-hmm.
And you're caught off guard by it. And when you're caught off guard by it, it takes a minute for your things to process, and it has to get processed before you can react to it.
Mm-hmm.
And those are precious moments. And when you're stunned by something,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time you realize what just happened, it's over, and they're
Okay.
gone.
True.
So it's very easy to understand how, you don't have time, you don't have the ability to slow down time and pay attention to all the details. You're just trying to figure out what the fuck happened, and then by the time you do, it's over and gone.
Okay. Now, is it true? Like, okay, I've thought on many occasions myself after I've watched some of Frank's interviews on other documentaries and seeing him. Is it that I got personally that Frank got caught up in the limelight of okay being Tupac's friend more than his bodyguard? Is it true that maybe some of these federal agents and cops also got too much involved of okay, well, this is the limelight and they got to enjoying it more than doing their jobs?
Well, Reggie can speak probably more directly on Frank as a person. I knew Frank only because of his background in amateur bodybuilding. He was a friend of my sister's. They used to work out together, and he was a custodian down in the Orange County jails, which is where I started my career at.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I always knew Frank to be kind of a guy who was a little bit self-absorbed. He liked himself, to put it mildly, and he started to exaggerate about his capabilities, and he was telling people that he was a law enforcement officer when in fact he wasn't. And then after Tupac, he wanted to kind of take advantage of it all to stay relevant.
Okay.
And his only relevance in life really was his association with Tupac Shakur. And there were other cops that were involved in all of this stuff that I think really got attracted to the atmosphere, the partying and the girls and the traveling and the exposure that they got. It was unique. It was exciting and attractive. But it also caused them to somehow, at certain times to kind of come into conflict with their professional life.
Most definitely. Now, Reggie, let me ask you this about Frank. At any given time, did you feel that you needed to remove Frank from Tupac? That Frank may have not been doing his job because went back. I saw some of the video footage, the real video footage of some of the what Frank had on that night, and that was okay. The outfit that Frank had on, even if he did have his gun, he wouldn't be able to tuck that gun in and have that gun hid anyway or wear it anywhere because he was looking more like he was a fucking model that night instead of a fucking security. Security for Tupac.
Well,
that's not. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, Reg. I want to hear what you're saying, then I'll respond to it.
No, that's kind of true. Like I said, I didn't see him on that particular day.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have been advising, and I would have told him not to be walking around no casino inside the MGM with a gun as well. So they wouldn't even had a gun on them inside of a casino. People can say what they want.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do it. I don't even think people that have CCWs out in Vegas can go inside the casinos with guns.
No, I'm not saying
that's just not smart. That's just not smart business.
No, I'm not saying he should.
Knowing where he was.
Right. No, what I'm not saying is that he should have. I mean, he had the gun, but I'm just saying, just me as being a guy from out of the streets, and if I had a beef with Tupac that night, and I'm in the casino, the first thing I'm gonna be looking at is Tupac's security. Look at how this nigga is dressed. He's dressed like a pretty boy. So I know he doesn't have a gun. That's the whole thing as, okay, well, let me psych him out. Let me wear a baggy jacket or something. You know what I'm saying? I know I don't have a gun, but the public doesn't have to know that I don't have a gun on me at this point in time. That's the point that I was getting at with Frank.
And yes, in response to that, and so I was just trying to justify that that was just that particular day that Frank was dressed like that. I know throughout the movie they always, or the show so far, they've been having him in that vest and that black dust because that's probably where most of the pictures were. But we got to remember, too, about 5 weeks prior to that night, Frank hadn't been working with Tupac. He was mainly working with Kevin Hackey and Al Giddens. That was Frank's first day back since, well, I keep saying five weeks, but since July the 4th. That was like one of his last days working with him when we did a shooting at the House of Blues, either July 3rd or July 4th. I think it was actually July 3rd, to be honest. So Frank hadn't been around him a lot. He tries to put himself like he was his primary and the only bodyguard. But even if y'all look at pictures, y'all see Kevin Hackey there a lot. Y'all see Al Giddens working with Pac a lot. And you also see Michael Moore working with him a lot. Okay. So just the dramatization that Frank wants to put it like he was the only bodyguard, that's just a bunch of bull crap. And that's just not accurate.
Yeah, because that's the assumption that I was up under of seeing Frank, of he was the only bodyguard, and, you know, he was basically on Pac all the time, and it was basically a 24-hour job for him. If he would be at home sleeping, and Pac would call him like, come on, Frank, I need to go I want to go hang out at the club. Then he'd get up and go hang out at the club with Tupac. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know, that's, you know, I always thought that something was wrong with that. And I'm not trying to bash Frank, so I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to bash Frank, but I'm just asking questions because some people have brought it to my attention early on, and I have been thinking it at the same time. Well, wait a minute here. Frank got to hold and take some responsibility for his actions as well, because for the last 22 years, the finger has been pointed directly and solely at you, Reggie, and Frank is somewhat at fault for that, for pointing the finger at you and not putting himself to say, okay, well, let me take some of that blame as well. I'm just going to put all of the blame on Reggie.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that was just the narrative that started being sold once he started doing the DVDs and the books and stuff like that, from being coached by Mr. Bonds and whoever else he was working with, is when that narrative was starting to really be put out there.
You know, the reality is, you know, is that neither Reggie Wright or Frank Alexander
could have stopped
had it. You know, their decisions that night, their actions that night, they would have made any difference. Frank could have had 2 guns on him. Right. That shooting was still going to take place. Tupac was still going to get shot. You know, and so the whole thing about the guns and had them or not, and, you know, Reggie and his decisions, which actually were very responsible decisions, to not have these guys carrying guns around Las Vegas when they weren't licensed to carry guns in Las Vegas. I mean, Reggie's doing the things that were appropriate. Frank was doing the things that he thought was appropriate. It all would not have mattered. The Southsiders are going to do what them Southsiders were going to do, regardless of whether Frank had a gun or what. I mean, shit. I'll tell you what, those Southsiders would have been more concerned about the Buntries and the neck bones and the people that were in the entourage who did have guns more than they would have been worried about the security. And we know those guys had guns, and it still didn't stop them.
Exactly.
So, so to try to, there's no blame for either of these guys. It's a horrible, tragic accident, and very little could have been done about it. It was a chain of events that nobody expected, and it all happened really quick. And we can be, we can be backseat drivers or second-string quarterbacks, but the truth of the matter, that shit was going down anyway.
Most definitely. Now, I want to ask you this. We're gonna move off of Frank for a minute. I'll get back to him a little bit later. Now, someone asked me to ask you this, Greg. Okay, did any other Crip member, go along with and verify Keffe D's story about this $1 million hit that was out on Pac and Suge from the Bad Boy camp, Puffy?
Hey, I'm getting a lot of interference. Maybe, Reg, can you ask me that question?
Real, could you repeat that? Because you kind of broke up on us.
Okay, I said, okay, did any other Crips member verify that the story that Keffe D told about Puffy putting $1 million hit out on Suge and Tupac? Is that true?
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Actually, Keffe D says that conversation took place just between them at Greenblatt's in Hollywood. He did say that there were other Crips present, and we spoke to other Crips where they were at a party, and Puffy had made a comment, something to the fact that, hey, I want them to do Ted, just kind of boasting, talking, kind of bravado. But that conversation where they specifically discussed money and, in a particular hit, Keffe D says that took place just between him and Puffy. However, we see later on in the conversation between Keffe D and Zip, that Zip becomes aware of the conversation that Keffe the gun and says, "Let's kill two birds with one stone," and then he's involved in the conversation the following day back here in Los Angeles when Puffy allegedly calls Zip, and Keffe D gets on the phone with him, and they said that was us, and
Hey, Greg, could you also touch on the fact that or that y'all also were told that some money was changed between Puffy and Zip?
Oh yes, please tell us about that.
Yeah. So supposedly, and this is according to Keffe D, two individuals had approached him and advised him that one of them's name was Greg something, the dope dealer out of New York who ended up getting caught up in an interstate drug trafficking case, and the other guy supposedly was a guy named D-Mac, Darius Rogers, who was a close associate of Puffy. According to Keffe D, he heard from both of those sources that Puffy had forwarded $500,000 to Zip with the intent to be passed on to Keffe D, but Zip never made good on the delivery and kept the money himself. So those are the story. That's the story as Keffe D tells it. Says that those two are the individuals that told him about it. So we don't know if it's true or not, but that's the claim that Keffe D makes.
Okay. Now, at any point, like I said, I think I asked you this before, but let me get it again. Was Puffy subpoenaed or anyone went to New York to talk to him about this at all? Is there anybody get a chance to sit down and talk to him?
Are you talking about Puffy?
Yes.
Oh, Puffy's not going to sit down and have a conversation about this. He's going to have his lawyer sit down and control the interview. He's not going to sit down and ask direct questions by LAPD or Las Vegas homicide investigators. He's smart enough to know not. He's smart enough to know not to be interrogated, and you can't force somebody to talk. If Puffy doesn't want to talk about it, then there's nothing anybody can do.
That's true. Kathy Scott's her theory, on the Crips killing Biggie. Do you buy that theory, or what? Or you think she was reaching for something?
Well, it was a theory that was a very workable theory from the beginning, and especially if it's truth about, if there's truth behind this outstanding debt, then yeah, it's a plausible theory. But when we look into it, we can't find any evidence to support it. It's a plausible theory, but it's just that. It's just a theory with no factual support. And if it is true, then why do we have somebody else confessing that's not connected to those guys to the actual murder of Biggie in Los Angeles? So, her position is based solely out of speculation and out of circumstance, but there's no fact or evidence to support it.
Okay. Now here's my thing. Okay, the way I see it. Okay, now let me say this. Okay, now Orlando Anderson. Let's go back to Orlando Anderson. Do you honestly believe that Orlando Anderson was the trigger man and the guy who killed Tupac? Do you think that's from his uncle saying that, and giving you all this in detail? Would you say, okay, this is believable and we believe it?
No, it's absolutely. It's the most believable thing that we have, and it's based on a variety of different sources.
Right.
Of course, we have Keffe D saying it, and of course, we have Orlando with it. His history of violence and his history of being a legitimate gang member who would not hesitate to do something like this. We know he has just gotten into a fight with Tupac, so he has the motive. And then we have several sources in Compton the following days where Orlando's going around and bragging about it.
Okay.
And aside from Keffe D, there were other members of his family that actually were calling into the police and saying, hey, Orlando Anderson is your shooter. Right. And then you have Orlando Anderson's associates who are talking to the police saying, hey, Orlando's bragging about this the next day when he shows up in a white Cadillac with DeAndre Smith.
Right. Now this is
so you put all that together. You put all that together, and it's a pretty compelling case to believe that Orlando Anderson is the suspect. There's no other suspect that comes with that kind of factual support.
Right. Now I look at it as street justice was served, and a lot. You're a retired homicide officer, and I know you don't believe in street justice, but my theory of seeing is street justice was served. Okay, Puffy put the hit out or put the seeds out and planted the seeds for the Crips to go and kill Tupac and Suge. Okay, well the Crips acted on that and they killed Tupac. Orlando Anderson, in return, not even a year later, was murdered himself allegedly by a Blood Pyru member, and now Biggie, less than a year later, Puffy's main artist, that was his main bread and butter, was killed less than a year also as well after Tupac was killed. And, allegedly by Bloods. Allegedly by the Bloods. So
let us correct you. Okay. Let us correct you on one thing, Real.
Go ahead, correct me.
Orlando was killed by some Crips. They were from a gang called Corner Pocket Crips in Compton.
Okay.
From Compton. The Strong brothers, Michael Strong and I forget
Jerry.
the other name. Yeah, okay. Jerry Strong.
Okay, it was okay.
But they had an association that they had some drug relationships together.
Okay.
I just didn't want it to get out there that there was some blood.
Okay, because I
should have been some bloods, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but I heard that it was some bloods. That's why I'm going with. Okay, well he got.
No, they're not bloods.
Okay, he got killed by some Crips. Okay, that's still street justice.
But in our city, Crips fight each other a lot.
Right.
They go back and forth against each other a lot. So that's not uncommon for Crips to Crip on Crip crime.
Right. So, okay, now back what I was saying. Now, Biggie allegedly gets murdered by Blood members. So, I call it street justice. Puffy put out a hit on Suge's biggest top artist, which was Tupac. Now, allegedly, there's no proof of it, but allegedly some Bloods went back and took out his top artist. So, Puffy, at the end, while you making all these I'll Be Missing You songs, Biggie and all that bullshit, it's your fault that Biggie's dead, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So off of that, we're gonna go off of that. Let me because I went a little bit off and going into the street justice because you know Pac is my dude and I rise with Pac. So okay, now the other guys that was in this Cadillac, Greg. Okay, did you get a chance to sit down and talk to the driver and the other passenger in the Cadillac, or they were already deceased and gone before you got a chance to get your hands on them?
Well, no, Terrence Brown was interviewed by the LAPD, and Terrence Brown, who's the driver, he denied that he was even in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have other people there, credible sources, saying, yeah, T. Brown was there. And then, you know, when they when there's a raid and they find T. Brown's backpack, you know, he's got postcards from Vegas that are dated the time of the Tupac shooting. So, you know, his credibility was in question, and of course, you know, if you're the driver of a vehicle that is involved in the murder of a celebrity, especially Tupac Shakur, you can understand why he's going to deny being there because he doesn't want to be connected to it. But, you know, but we have strong, compelling evidence to put him in Vegas and in that car. So he lied and denied it, and we never got a chance to kind of put him in the same kind of corner that we put Keffe D in, which was always our intention. That, you know, unfortunately, they disbanded the task force before we got to do all that. And then, of course, he dies in a robbery in the drug dispensary, marijuana dispensary in Compton, you know, just a couple of years ago. And so he's gone. He no longer have access to that. But he was interviewed, but he denied being in Vegas at all.
Okay. So now I've heard this. I don't know. Maybe you can clear this up. But I was reading somewhere a while ago, before I even got into this podcasting YouTube situation. I remember reading that the white Cadillac that was it was supposed to have been allegedly a rental, and it was turned back in to a rental company. I say a day or two later or whatever, and someone at the rental car company said that the Crip members turned the rental car back in, the Cadillac back in. And they called the LAPD and let them know, well, hey, this car was just turned back in from some Crip members, and this could possibly be the car. Is that true or is that false?
That's false, completely false. We didn't know anything about who had rented the vehicle until years and years later. We knew it was a white Cadillac, and originally there was a suspicion that the Cadillac belonged to another Crip associate named Jerry Monk, Jerry Bond, they called him Monk. And because he happened to have a white Cadillac and he was associated with the Southside Crips, everyone just kind of speculated that it was his car. It turns out, you know, years later, we find out it was actually Terrence Brown's mother-in-law who rented the car, but so much time had passed, there was no possibility of getting those records.
Wow. So, okay, it was a rental car. Okay. Okay, so that, like I say, so in so many, right? So in so many words, Vegas, they really did fuck this case up. In so many words, Vegas did not really go at this case the way they should have went at this case because it was just so many mistakes in the LAPD. You guys had caught a lot of the mistakes and tried to take these mistakes over to Vegas, and Vegas seemed as if they didn't even want any parts of what you guys were doing. And you were bringing them the case on a silver platter.
Well, I don't know that you got the case on a silver platter back in 1996. Back in 1996, there were a lot of issues interfering with the investigation. Like I said, people weren't cooperating. There was mistrust between law enforcement agencies. You know, Vegas is, you know, 300 miles away. And, you know, there were a lot of issues that just interfered with it all. And I don't think that they just blatantly fucked it up. I think they could have done a better job and been a little bit more persistent. But I don't think that they were just, you know, running around like Keystone Cops and fooling. It was just a bad set of circumstances that led to this thing not being solved.
Okay. Let's move.
And while we on that,
Go ahead.
while we on that, if you could, Greg, let Greg kind of explain on the Unsolved, because I know people gonna get messed up with the timelines. How Russell Poole and his partner allegedly went out there and talked to him, and then found out about Lando Anderson and all of that. They had already knew, because they had the search warrants and all of that had already happened in Compton. So the show was kind of messing it up a little bit with the timelines. You know, Greg, if you can just kind of explain that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. And that's one of the challenges that the producers and the directors on the program had, is that, you know, you're compressing 20 years essentially of investigative effort and trying to mix three different timelines from 96 and 97 to 2006. And so in order to kind of keep the story flowing and connect the dots to make it somewhat easy for the audience to follow, we did have to take some creative license in shifting around some circumstances. All of the information that we put forth is accurate information, but we do have to take some creative license with how we tell the story, because it's impossible to fit thousands and thousands of investigative hours into, you know, essentially 8.5, 9 hours.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. Now, let's go to Russ Poole. Okay, now Russ Poole, a lot of people will say, okay, I've heard certain individuals say, okay, the case was everything was done by Russell Poole, and they say Greg Kading came in and just got it with a bow on, the case with a bow on it, and it was already Russell Poole's investigation. What do you feel about that when you hear someone say that?
I think that those people would be very, and no offense to them, but they're very ignorant. Now, Russell Poole was only on the case, you know, for 9 months. That's it. He was on the case for 9 months, and his partner was actually the lead investigator. His partner, Fred Miller, was the senior investigator. And Russell Poole did good work. He actually, I'm not dissing the guy's work ethic or anything, but you know, there were a lot of other people involved, a lot of other investigators, a big team effort, and you can't give all the credit to Russell Poole, and you certainly can't say that he's responsible for all of these conclusions. And the bottom line is that regardless, if Russell Poole gave it to us with a bow on it, then we would have all reached the same conclusion. We had to go back and identify all the mistakes that were made and why he reached erroneous conclusions. So, you know, I'm not trying to spit on the man's grave, but, you know, in truth, he made some really bad mistakes that caused him to get stuck in some rabbit holes that he never got out of.
Okay. Now, I've also heard this as well. Okay, Russell Poole says, allegedly someone says that, okay, Viola Wallace, Biggie's mother, only trust Russell Poole to work on this case, and she didn't trust any other officer. Is that true, Greg?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, if you look at a lot of people were involved in this investigation. You know, Russ Poole, again, had it for 9 months. That's it. This investigation went on for years and years with a lot of other investigators assigned.
Okay.
And, you know, here's the if she only believed Russell Poole, then why did her lawyers dismiss David Mack and Rafael Perez from the lawsuit against the city? Why did they decide that there was no evidence to pursue a civil case against them, where you need much less evidence than you do in a criminal case, and they still decided to dismiss those guys from the lawsuit? So, you know, there's not a lot of faith in Russell Poole's theory if you're dismissing his main suspects. And then keep in mind, at the end of the day, Russ Poole changes his theory. Before he dies, it's no longer Suge Knight hiring people. Now it's Suge Knight is a victim of it all.
Yeah.
She also dismissed me and Suge as well at the same time.
Yeah, I've
so
I've heard that he
you know, if Russell
yeah, I heard that he did say, okay, well, if anything, he wanted to apologize to Suge personally because he found out that he fucked up and Suge was not the person who put these hits on Big or Pop. So yeah, that's wow. Okay, Russell Poole, yeah, he
lost his way
mm,
and it never gave himself. He never left himself an out, and
right.
so he dug a hole in the ground and then got stuck in it.
Mm. Okay, okay. Here's one. One of the family members, they just put this up here and they shot it out, and it said, "What do you have to say to those who say Russell Poole solved several homicides and you did not?"
Hey, Russell Poole was a good homicide investigator, and he did solve cases. I was a good homicide investigator, and I solved cases. So there's people that are out there that
Greg, you didn't hear all the question. They tried to say that you didn't solve any homicide.
Yeah, they try. Yeah,
You
someone.
didn't handle that.
Someone said. Yeah, someone said that you did not solve didn't solve any homicide cases or not one. I'm not gonna say that person's name because I'm not gonna shit on them. They said you did not solve a homicide.
I don't say it. It's R.J. Bonds that's saying it. It's R.J. Bonds because I haven't heard him say it. I don't say it.
Okay.
And I don't know.
My question would simply be this. Now, how in the world would R.J. Bond know what I've accomplished in my professional life? What does he do? Was he monitoring me for 25 years while I, had my professional career? Of course I can solve homicide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't get assigned to this case because I was, a derelict. I got assigned to this case because I was somebody that they could rely on to do the right thing.
Well, he said it was a bunch of C's and B cops with history problems and stuff, that they will sign something that could possibly bankrupt a city to, a $400 million judgment.
So that he's kind of it seems like he contradicts himself. If you want to assign cops to help protect your department under such circumstances, you're going to assign really sophisticated, smart, conniving, guys. You're not going to have fumbling idiots that'll fuck up a simple job. So, he's got to make up his mind which way he wants to go with that.
No, that was my opinion. That was my mind saying, why would they sign some cops for $400 million, with a $400 million judgment? Yeah, he won't give you that much credit.
Yeah, that's what I was basically looking at. Why is it that they hired all these fuck up cops or these D-rated or C-rated cops to handle this big case, one of the biggest unsolved murders in history? And I always wondered that.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're talking about R.J. Bond, and where does R.J. Bond even have the authority or the credibility to have an opinion on the matter? What does he know about law enforcement? What does he know about law enforcement investigations? What does he know about investigative protocols? What does he know about homicide investigations? What does he know about gang investigations? The guy has no experience in any of these subjects, but yet we're going to listen to him about how things work? It makes absolutely no sense.
Well, like I said,
who's R.J. Bond?
Like I said, we're
just asking the question.
Yeah, we're just asking the question. We're not we're not shitting on him. I like RJ. RJ is a great guy. I like him. He's a cool guy. But like you say, I'm my own man, and I don't have to agree with a lot of the stuff that RJ says. But me and RJ is good. There's no bad blood with RJ. I just put it out there. The people want to ask, and I'm gonna, want me to ask, and I'm going to ask it, and I'm going to put it out there because my family, they deserve that, to have these questions answered because they're asking them. So I'm gonna ask them, and you're answering them and putting them out there.
Yeah, but let's say a building falls, down, and then Greg Kading comes along and starts to say, well, you know what? These engineers fucked up. I don't know anything about it, structural engineering.
Right.
I know a building fell, and there's probably a reason why that building fell, but I certainly don't know all the dynamics of, how stress affects and weights affect, certain steels. And, so, I mean, really, what authority does a guy like RJ have to come in and really criticize how things take place in a world that he doesn't have any experience in? It's like me trying to explain data processing to him. That's his world. He knows data processing. And it would be naive of me, ignorant of me, to try to claim to be more of an authority on that than he is.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody just said they would love to hear you and RJ debate. One of the family members, I can tell you that's not gonna happen. RJ don't do YouTube. RJ want the big bucks. He want that to be on pay per view. So if we can get a pay per view going, RJ would do it. RJ's not doing nothing for free. So that's not gonna happen unless pay per view comes along and take it up. Who that was one of the, I forgot who it was. Their name just flashed by so quick, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. So good try though, good try, and that was good for putting that out there. Let it be seen. So let me just ask you this. Let's see. Be that cutting up and then guest video. Okay, somebody just we ain't go. Nah, we gonna leave that alone, Supreme. Which you right. You 100% right on that, Supreme. Yeah, they would. He would cut that. He would take a Greg Kading interview, 1 hour, and cut that motherfucker up to 235 pieces and sell every one of them on Patreon. That's real talk. But no jabbing, no taking no shots. Is the truth. But okay. Now anybody else got anything they gotta ask? Because Greg is on a tight schedule here. Reggie, he's on a tight schedule here. Or Reggie, do you wanna do something? Bring something?
I got a couple of
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions for on Greg. Greg, in the show, they were talking about, and just so people won't get them mixed up with Orlando Anderson and now, if you can just explain what you found out about the photographers or the guy that was calling Suge, that was also calling Puffy or something like that was in that thing.
Great.
That y'all found out that they were some producers or something like that.
Yeah, they were just Scott Shepard and Ernest Anderson. They were just kind of hanging out. They just kind of got themselves connected to the entourage. They wanted to do a birthday party thing and sell a screenplay, and so they were just guys. We see them in the photographs with Biggie and Puffy, and they happened to have a white Land Cruiser. Witnesses said there was a white SUV that kind of jumped out in front of Puffy's security, but it obviously wasn't those guys. They had good alibis. They had good explanations for their being there, and there was never anything to suggest that they had been involved in some kind of big conspiracy to get Big murdered. So they're completely innocent bystanders who just found themselves unwittingly in the middle of a shooting, and then some people considering them suspects, but they weren't.
Yeah. And then I want to say the guy that appeared to be playing as Bunk, well, we know him as Bunk in The Wire. He seemed to don't like you. I hope he's a made-up character or something.
Well, yeah. Keep in mind, for the economy of the show, there's just practical things that we have to do, and we have to keep the number of people in this project limited. The real task force, we had 16 people. In this show we have 6, and so we couldn't have a show where we have 16 different people all interacting together. It would just get too messy and complicated. So most of these characters have are either real people, based on real people in real lives, and there's a couple of them that we kind of do what's called a composite, where we take several characters and put them into one. For instance, the lieutenant at the Robbery Homicide Division in the 2 episodes so far that happens to be Russell Poole's lieutenant, he's a composite character. He's made up of several characters that were real people that were involved over different periods of time.
Okay. The head guy that brought you on, what was his position? Is that Cat, or who was he?
No, so he's a real character. His name's Brian Tyndall. He was a detective supervisor and really, really good guy, a good leader. And he was.
When you said a supervisor, is that a sergeant or a captain or what? What was his position?
Well, in the LAPD, we had different type of ranking systems than most police departments. So he would outrank a sergeant, but be a lower rank than a lieutenant, and he's what's called a detective 3, a detective coordinator or detective supervisor. So if you're in the investigation of LAPD, there's a different ranking structure than there is if you're in the patrol department of LAPD.
Gotcha.
Hey, Greg,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question, Greg, because this is from one of the family members here. Okay, they said, what was the most rewarding experience that you had working on Unsolved?
Knowing that everybody involved had a tremendous passion to tell the story. There are a lot of people that were on the project that had their own personal stories connecting to either Biggie or Tupac or to the hip hop scene. For instance, like Bo Keem Woodbine, who plays my partner Darren Dupree, he was a personal friend of Tupac. And so everybody had motivation to do these guys justice, to tell this story and get it right and do it in a way that is new and fresh and exciting and educational to everybody. So that's what was great, was knowing that this just wasn't another television project. This was a television project that really meant a lot to the people involved.
Okay.
Hey, I got a not breaking news, but somebody just called in and wanted to holler at Greg right quick.
Okay.
He hadn't talked to in a minute.
Okay.
No,
so I'm
he
connected to
hasn't.
Sharitha.
Oh,
Sharitha
shit.
Golden on the phone.
Hold, ladies and gentlemen,
Now I got Greg and Sharitha.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Sharitha is on the phone, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Sharitha? How you doing, baby? How you doing?
Hi.
Is Greg still there? I don't know. Greg hung up on me.
Why would I wouldn't hang up on you?
No, I'm joking. All right.
Go ahead.
I don't
We
know.
got Greg and Sharitha.
Sharitha, the floor
Everybody
is all
had
yours.
a good input and everybody this, but some person knew exactly my input and it didn't matter. They told it how they wanted to tell it. So, no, this was just TV.
Oh.
Episode 1 was just TV.
Hey, Sharitha, you ain't gonna be messing with my friend with me on the phone now. Be nice.
No, it's all.
That was my friend too. That was my friend
That's still
too.
your friend.
That's my friend too. I'm just mad because this is my thing to my friend. My friend, we've been talking and dealing with each other for the past 2 years before this came out. And my thing to him is he could have told me exactly what they were saying, how they were going to portray this whole episode 1. And not one time he called me to tell me, oh, I'm sorry. The only thing he told me was, oh, it is something in there you wasn't going to like, which they said, why would you talk to Kevin? Oh, because he's handsome and this. And, you know, they just said that because it was funny. Well, first of all, that wasn't funny. But you didn't tell me the rest of the bullshit that they said I said, that I did not say. I don't even like the way I was portrayed in there.
Well,
and my real friend would have picked up a phone and told me what I was going to expect to see.
Well, I thought it was great, so I figured you'd like it. So.
Oh, I thought she was cute too.
No, I liked the whole scene. And I
like the whole scene too if it wasn't me. If it wasn't me, I would have liked the whole scene too. But my friend knew that what was portrayed in that movie, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not even going down Kevin's line. I'm talking about Sharitha Knight. You knew for a fact that was not said in that living room.
Well, how would I know that, Sharitha?
Well, because me and you talked about it. And when you started doing this project, wait a minute, Greg. When you started doing this project, you absolutely told me, well, Sharitha, you only in there for like 2 seconds. The only thing you say is get the fuck out of my house. Well, I sure said a whole lot of more stuff that I know for a fact I didn't say. Where is that in writing that I said any of that?
We drew from a lot of different sources, and I get
what source? I want to know what source. I want to know what source. When they wrote the report that they came to my house that night, what was the questions they wrote down and said I answered and how I answered? It was not that.
All right, Sharitha Golden, we're gonna do this conversation with us.
I'm happy to respond to it. I mean, she has a right to be upset if she doesn't like the way that she was portrayed, but you know, we don't have an obligation to make sure everybody's happy. We're not going to tell.
We just have an obligation to get paid. That's it. That's all people worry about now is getting paid.
Yeah, what she's saying is that you and her had developed a relationship over the last year. She made her look a little better. Like even she didn't like the car. I know she didn't like how y'all, the car that they put her in. and the stuff that was said. You know, she considered herself a businesswoman when the things that young lady said was like a dumb blonde. Is what I think has got her upset.
Okay. Well,
he didn't even listen to what I first started off saying. I said, as a friend, he should have warned me what I was going to see, and I wouldn't even be this mad. That's what I said to you, but you didn't hear that.
Well, I think I did. I thought I called you.
You told me one thing. You told me two things. Matter of fact, one of them was a lie. Oh, okay. Let me say. The first time you ever told me about this, you said the only thing they're going to show me for a second, and the only thing I say is get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my house. Okay, they did say that after I said a bunch of bullshit first, and then I talked to you another day, and I said, well, wait a minute, my kid just pulled up. I'm supposed to be in 2 scenes. When did I become involved in this whole Tupac Biggie murder 2 scenes, Greg? You says, well, they just got you in there, and you're not gonna like one thing only, and that's when you told me the whole he was, good looking, whatever, and they thought it was funny. That's it. You had ample time when we talked that day to tell me exactly what I was saying. No, you don't have no obligations to me. You don't have no obligations to me. But if I had anything to say about you in a movie, you damn well best believe I'm gonna pick up my phone and call you about it. As my friend, I thought we had a good relationship.
Well, I thought we did too, and I'm sorry that you're upset. It didn't work out the way that obviously you had hoped. I thought it was a great scene. I thought she portrayed you well.
It's not you. It's not you. You're this good-looking guy and the star of this movie. It was not you, Greg. It was not you. See, that's what the problem with people. You can't think for somebody else. But as my friend, you should have called me and said, Sharitha, I know you didn't have no input on really. They elaborate. They mix some stuff up for TV. They do mix stuff up for TV, Greg. I do know that for a fact. And as my friend, I'm sitting here telling you, you should have warned me. And I might not have been mad and said, oh, that's just some TV bullshit. But no, I'm mad because my friend didn't tell me what was supposed to have came out of my mouth.
All right. Well, then I guess I wasn't a good friend. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I see that now. Everything about the whole death row, Tupac murder, all of this, that's all I see out of this is everybody want to make money off of somebody else's story about somebody else's life and about a murder. Now this has just got to be, something's wrong with this, especially for old cops to come back and write a book on privileged information about what they learned as being a cop. That should be illegal. That should be illegal. It should definitely be something that should be illegal. And then the way, he threw up blood. Hell, I don't even know how to throw up that B.
Well, why would you?
Why would Kevin?
I don't know, but that's...
but then again, I said Kevin and Suge knew each other. They met. It was like you made us out of this black little orgy fest. Let me say something about black people that you don't know. Black people don't do shit like that. And last I checked, when I just looked in the mirror, I was still black.
All right, so you didn't like...
So all these white people, R.J. Barton, and whoever, always got a story to talk about. All you guys had a story to talk about. And the story is how you guys saw it. Because Liga is sitting here right in the classroom telling he knew Kevin already. So that whole thing, when is that going to be cleared up? Tell me that. When is the Kevin part going to be cleared up? We got to wait and see. But see, my friend would have already told me all this. My friend wouldn't have let me get upset about something on TV.
Instead of being upset, why don't you just recognize the fact that I didn't live up to what your perception of friendship was? It is what it is. The show's going to go on. People will like it.
I'm sure. I'm sure you made good money off of it. I'm sure you made good money off of it. I'm sure you made good money, Greg. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
I'm sure if you had the opportunity, you'd be getting money for your story.
Well, you know what? One thing about my story, it'll be the facts.
According to you.
You damn right. It's according to me. Because it's about me. It's not about Greg. It wouldn't be about Greg. It wouldn't be about nobody else. It'll be my story.
Everybody appreciates that.
Can I ask you?
And Greg, my thing to you is, where is the documentation that said I said this? I would love to see that. According to you, where's the documentation that I said this?
You got to go talk to the detectives that were there.
You are the detective.
Or at least
you got the paperwork. You got the paperwork. This was your story, so you must have documentation that this was said.
Yep.
Now, can I,
where is that at?
Hold on. Can I ask one question? Since we talking about the money, and because I criticize a lot of other people that's making money off YouTube, and I've said what I had to say about it, and I issued a challenge, and I told everybody that certain individuals, and I have not got a response back, that I would take every dollar that I made this month off of any Tupac videos and donate it to the family and give it to the family. If the other YouTube channels would do the exact same thing, I am willing to do that. Is anyone else willing to do that? Now, let me ask you this, Greg. Have the Shakur family or the Wallace family received any money off of the Unsolved document? The documentary.
Yeah, you would have to. Yeah, so I'm not involved in like how or where everybody gets paid. That's not my role in this whole thing. Obviously, Mopreme Shakur was directly involved. He played a role as a producer, and so Mopreme, you'd have to talk to him about what deals were made or contracts were made and how that all played out. I wouldn't know.
Well, if Mopreme was involved, I know the family got some money, so that's a good thing. That's a good look because he was involved. Okay, go ahead, continue on, Sharitha. Go ahead. I just had a question.
You know what?
Sharitha is just I'm done with Greg.
She's done. All right, my friend.
Okay. Are there going to be any reconciling?
I'm glad you think this is so funny too, Greg.
No.
Well, I just think it's kind of pathetic that you get upset about something that's really so minor.
Really? Because it's not you, though. That's the thing that's bothering me. It's not you. Won't you let somebody say something? First of all, my name was dragged through the mud, said I killed Tupac. Let's start there.
Oh, yeah.
And then you gonna sit here and see.
Who was your biggest defender, Teresa?
Fuck Suge. And what Suge said. That's how I feel.
What he said, Teresa. He said, "Who was your biggest?"
Who was your biggest defender? Who was out there fighting for you, trying to clear your name, doing all that?
Greg,
who was
I understand that. Okay, so why would you make me look like this without even telling me this?
Because I didn't think you looked bad. I think you looked.
But
great.
If you didn't think it looked bad and you thought it was great, why you just didn't tell me?
I know. Hold on. I
thought it looked great, and I figured you'd be proud of it.
Well, I know what YouTuber said that. Hold on. I know what YouTuber. Hold on. I know what YouTuber said that Sharitha and Reggie Wright Jr. tried to kill Tupac and Suge for the $500 million, and we all know who that is, and Reggie, you know who he is too. So we know who that guy is, and they went on national TV and said that you did it, but they got cut out and said that you and Reggie Wright Jr. were the cause of going after the $500 million that you guys tried to assassinate Suge and Tupac. And somebody just said his name in the what's the name? I'm not gonna say it, but Reggie know who it is. Sharitha, you may not know who he is, but a couple people done said his name. But wow, so Sharitha, you have been falsely accused of being the killer of your ex-husband and one of your artists. Is what you're telling us.
And, I've been accused of a whole lot of stuff in my life.
Wow.
Since the whole book and everything else that came out in the world. Yes, Greg, you did try to clear my name on that. And that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that. But like I said, what you perceive somebody as is not what that person perceived them as. And as somebody's friend, all I'm saying to you is you told me two parts. You didn't tell me the rest. And that's all I'm saying. What was said, and I called you several times to talk to you about this. And you knew exactly what was going to be said. And you didn't say, okay, Shreesha, let me just say they did say this or whatever. I don't know if these was your words that you put in my mouth or it was some documentation that made them put this in their mouth, or was it the producers? You, as my friend, you could have told me. Just like you told me, oh, they said this, and I know you didn't say that, but they thought it was funny. I didn't have nothing to do with that. You made it very clear to me, and I didn't get mad at you for that. I did not get mad at you for that. I'm mad because of the other stuff.
Let me just say this, y'all, before the rumors get out there that we are all friends and all of that. Greg did not meet Sharitha Knight. or golden until about 2 years ago.
I said 2 years.
I know, but people you just threw the word friend around 100 times, and so friend, I would have think that's why I would be trying to unsolve you for a murder and all of that. But Greg was long gone from the police department when him and Sharitha met. I didn't meet Greg Kading until about 2008, sometime in 2008, and so any of these relationships that developed was once Greg was not working in law enforcement anymore. It was once he was starting to work on his private projects and stuff like that. But while he was in law enforcement or anything like that, I did not know Greg Kading, and I know Sharitha didn't know Greg Kading until about 2 or 3 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay,
2 years ago. 2 years ago, when he came to me and said somebody was going to bring out this whole big theory that me and Reggie killed Tupac, and that's when I became friends with Greg. So that was it. And most of our conversations has always been about that. And like I told Greg, and Greg, it's my word, but Greg's on the phone now. I told Greg, I didn't care about that. That didn't matter to me. I know the truth about stuff. I know the truth. And that's all that matters. My kids know the truth, and that's all that matters. But now this whole big ordeal that Sharitha's in the limelight. Oh, and let's get this. Greg is the one that got Sharitha out the closet.
Okay.
So, Greg is the one that talked me into doing an interview when I first did an interview with Lee Savage. That was all Greg.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my trust in the Greg, and that's why my feelings is hurt right now. I put my trust in the Greg.
See,
but that's my version.
See,
that's
RJ
my
and I
version.
don't know. We did a few things to him to stop that. We thought it was a joke. We thought RJ shit was funny to us.
Right.
And, Greg had took the time and everything to help us to even find a lawyer, had a lawyer for us to sue him.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided not to sue RJ because we feel he didn't have anything to sue him.
Mm-hmm.
But we had this whole plan. We knew what was coming out. Greg helped us with that. He spelled it out to us. He was there to be our private investigator to take everything to the attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
We just the ones decided, hey, forget this. This is funny. This is crazy. This is stupid. Nobody will believe this shit. It didn't pick up steam until Suge, being funny, trying to get some freedom in jail, go and allegedly say to his attorneys whatever he said. But you see, as soon as he heard that Sharitha and myself knew about it, then they do a recant. So who knows what's true or not? Who knows? But we just want to say, Greg has been always there to help us, and that's why I guess Sharitha.
Greg don't even know that made me look worse. Yeah. That whole episode made me look bad. Whether you intentionally did it or not, Greg, or you think it looked great, I'm just telling you from the reviews I get, from the stuff I get. You're not getting that. And that's what you don't understand. You're not getting it.
Listen, you can scream and rant and rave all night. Listen, I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's all you needed to say.
There it is. I apologize that you didn't like it. I wish you would have. I thought you would have. Unfortunately, you didn't. It's over. And again, I'm bummed that you're not happy with it.
Okay, somebody just said
but that's all I can do.
Hold on, someone listen. One of the family.
Hey, Greg,
members,
I told them they did. I told her you did her justice. I told her that chick was fine, but she didn't like that.
Shut up.
Hold on. Outlaw.
I told Sharitha originally. I said, listen. I said she comes across as a strong, defiant black woman. Under those circumstances, she didn't like the way she was being questioned, and that's what I told Sharitha, and that was it.
I didn't have a problem with that, Greg. I didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't give her the dialogue. I didn't send her a script. I didn't, sit there and play it for her. That's what I told her, and that's exactly what took place in that scene. Is exactly how I described it. So, I'm sorry that you didn't like the portrayal or the whatever innuendo you read into it.
All right.
But it is what it is.
We got to let Real get back to his interview.
Hold on. Let me say, we sitting back and we enjoying it, but Outlaw Cody just said that by Greg releasing the book, Sharitha actually made you look good and it cleared your name by him releasing the book. This is what Outlaw Cody just said. Your thoughts, Sharitha? Outlaw Cody, she said, and she's clearing her throat. Outlaw Cody, she's not buying
You
it.
know, I don't know what it clears me of because in episode 1, it didn't even direct me to being involved in killing Tupac. So it didn't clear me of anything. The book didn't clear me of anything because I'm not even associated in the book as trying to kill Tupac. So that I don't have a problem with. I don't even have a problem with. So his book doesn't even state any of that in there. So that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, let me ask this now.
And
the people.
And don't get me wrong, I thought it was a great choice. I thought she was a great choice. Okay, I pat you on your back for that, Greg. What I'm just saying is, and did she come off strong? And she came off like a bitch to me. But okay, I thought she was cute, and I could have accepted all of that attitude and all of that funkiness and all of that. But I didn't say those things.
Let me ask you a question, Teresa. The night that those guys showed up at your house and we're talking about.
Want me to tell you what the questions was? Want me to tell you what the questions was?
I'm just asking, what was your attitude towards them? Were you nice and loving and respectful?
I'm always nice. I'm always nice, Greg. You met me. I was never mean and disrespectful to you. You met me.
No, you weren't. No.
I'm the same way every day until you make me mad.
But you did describe what your attitude was towards the guys because of the kind of questions that they were giving you that night. I thought we did a good job of portraying that based on what you
That's fine, too. I accept that, too. I ain't even mad about that, Greg. I'm not mad about that. I'm mad about the other words that came out of my mouth. I'm mad about the fact that I'm supposed to have a car register me to look like a piece of shit. But that's okay, too. I ain't even tripping off that. I'm real pissed about Kevin, but Kevin's family got paid for that bull crap. That's fine. And I'm not trying to get paid. I just want people to, if you're going to portray somebody, portray them to the factual truth about them. Get to know that person and get their version on what happened that day. And I gave you all of that. I let you inside my life to get to know me. You had that opportunity. Everybody else didn't have that.
Well, like I said, the way that you described it to me when we had the conversation, that was my impression, and I thought we portrayed it close to the heart. I thought that would have been a good representation. I'm sorry it wasn't accurate according to the way you saw it, but that was the way I understood it. And I think the writers and the producers did a pretty good job of creating that conflict that took place between those investigators and yourself.
Greg, I just said I can even accept the bitch part. I can even accept the bitchy attitude. I can accept that. It's not what I'm saying, Greg. But you apologize. Greg. I'm a real bitch tonight, and I made that clear too, Greg. Okay. I made that very clear too, Greg. I'm very nice and sweet. Okay. I'm very approachable until you piss me off. I made that clear too.
I'm gonna just say this one more time because I gotta go. I'm sorry, Sharita, that it didn't live up to your expectations. I apologize. You're upset about it. I've got to put it behind me, and I hope you will too.
Yeah, I will too, I'm sure.
Okay, now let me ask you this question, Reggie and Sharitha, okay? This shit ain't funny no more, and you guys have been accused of some shit that you didn't do. Why it's not funny no more? Why not go after the people and sue the people who slandered your name the way that they slandered your name? Why not go after them?
You know why? Because it's not going to change what people think. No matter what you do, it's out in the air, it's out in the universe. It's not going to change people.
But it will make the next person think before they put some bullshit out to say, well, wait a minute, this shit was not true. So we need to not.
And what am I going to get out of suing them besides some attorney fees? What do they have?
That's the whole key. That's the whole key. Real is that they are really what we call judgment proof. Now, if they still had the money from the first DVD that they did, then I think they were maybe possible worth suing. But they hadn't had any real distribution for a while. Okay. But let me apologize. Well, let me just say this to Greg, because this appears, because if I was on the other line, I would appear to be an ambush. And I just wanted Greg to know that this was not no ambush that was set up.
I've been listening to this.
And so, Greg, did Greg feel there? Or?
Yeah, so Greg, I don't feel that way, man. I mean, she needs to get this off her chest. I'm glad she did, and the only way she's going to get it off her chest.
But that could have been done on a three-way call between us.
But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I wish everybody a good night, though, because I got to take off.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Greg, we thank you for
Thanks,
coming on
man.
the show, Greg. Thank you. We appreciate you.
My pleasure, everybody. Good night, Sharitha.
Sharitha. You just...
Sharitha, you really was a Suge Knight, wasn't you? Did you train Suge Knight like that, or was he?
Did I what?
Did I get
Did you get that from Suge Knight,
Yeah, I got it.
Or what? He's going off on people.
Yeah, because that sounded like Suge coming through the phone for a minute. Did you get that?
And that's what I'm trying to say to her. She ain't listening.
I don't care, Reggie. It's not, you got mad, Reggie. I had to call you and tell you to stop some stuff you was doing because you got mad and you got your little toot on.
I didn't say you was wrong. I just said that you sounded like Suge Knight. That's all I said.
That's fine too.
Well, Sharitha, it's a lot of motherfuckers that's in this family saying they love you. They love you. It's so many. I love her. Sharitha. Somebody said, Sharitha, please call me. And somebody said, please put me on the phone with Sharitha. I love Sharitha. Oh, this is going on. Like, they love you. She's married, motherfuckers.
I can't even think of this guy. I can't even think of this guy that keeps inboxing me on Facebook, and I just think it's adorably cute.
Listen, don't do that. Don't do that because you'll get towed up.
Fine. I think he's very nice. And don't get me wrong, people. I do get nice messages that come in, and people make me aware what they saw on YouTube or whatever they saw it at. And my thing to people is, people don't think about that, how the other person feels. And like Reggie said, when I first was introduced to Greg, it was about him wanting to clear my name, and I appreciated that from him. And we had long, extensive conversations because he had some bad opinions about Kevin. And I tried to justify those opinions and tell him my version, like he wants to put it. It is my version. But he never even got an opportunity to meet Kevin. So he doesn't even have a version. And that's what Greg don't understand. When you met me, Greg, you didn't see me like that on TV. You never have seen me like that. And for that matter, Greg has never seen me upset like this in the 2 years that I've been associating myself with Greg. So, no, Greg, it is my opinion, but yet you didn't even have no opinion because you didn't even know Kevin. You didn't even know Kevin.
And I think he should have admitted, but he didn't want to admit that he doesn't have as much input on the show as he maybe took credit for. And what I mean by blame, by the the things that you were coming at him about. I don't think he had as much juice.
And I said that though, Reggie. You didn't. Yeah. You see, you guys are such in a rant, but I do add the stuff in it. And I said I knew he didn't have, the creativeness in it. Yeah. I knew that. But what I'm saying to him and what he needed to understand was.
Tell you. Yeah.
Tell me. You told me some of it. Why didn't you tell me all of it? When you told me the whole thing about, what they asked me, why did I talk to Kevin anyway? And I said, who wouldn't? He's good looking. And I texted him back and said, man, damn well that wouldn't come out of my mouth. And he started laughing because Greg has always made this little, thing about, I can't believe you actually talked to this guy. And so, no, the Sharitha that they portrayed in that movie is not the Sharitha, because if I was that Sharitha, maybe I wouldn't have talked to Kevin. So don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I'm not like that. Anybody and everybody can always approach me, and I'm a very nice person. So understand, I was a bitch tonight. Believe me.
Hey,
but that's not in my character. I'm very nice. I can get what I need to get done. You got to understand, I've been a woman that's been with Suge most of all my life, but that's inexcusable because me and Suge relationship was so different then. But when I got into that music industry, you had to become a different person. I had to step out of my body and be somebody else because you couldn't be nice. People didn't accept the nice, quiet Sharitha. Oh, she quiet, she this, she that. Yeah, they didn't understand that person. So, yes, when they saw me get my attitude, oh, yeah, that changed. It changed. Okay, now you want this Sharitha. Okay, yeah, I do have two sides of Sharitha. I come from the hood. I grew up in the hood. I did not grow up in Beverly Hills. I grew up on Normandy in 109th Street. So, therefore, anybody that knows California, I went to Washington Preparatory High School. I grew up in the hood. All my friends was hood niggas. So, No. I'm very nice and sweet. I'm a very sweet person.
Y'all hear that?
But I know the streets too.
Do y'all believe she's sweet and nice, family? Hey, you got motherfuckers throwing their phone numbers up here talking about, tell her to call me. Look, motherfucker, she's married. She's not going to call you. But now, Sharitha, listen. We want to invite you and have you as a part of the elite family. We want you in the elite family on Facebook. We want you there. You need to be there. You deserve to be there. And we don't give that to anybody. You got to earn that spot. But God damn it, we want to put you in the elite family. We want to make you a part of that family. And Regs, you got to hook it up so she can become a member of the 313 Elite family, because that is where we gets down at, and a lot of shit we put over there don't make it over here to YouTube. And that's real talk. And everybody that's in the elite, like Jersey D is saying, please put her in the elite group. She has the invite.
I want to be in the elite group.
That's what he's talking about. He gonna get you. We're gonna send it to you.
I know. He said that, but yes. You know what? I'm calmed down now because I gotta remember Greg did apologize. So I'm gonna calm down on Greg, and it wasn't an ambush, an intentional ambush on Greg. When I saw the episode, I sent Greg my face on fire. So he had ample opportunity to call me and say, Sharitha, I know, or anything. How did you think about it? He never even picked up the phone after the episode to say, oh, what did you think about that? See, I told you they portrayed you elegantly. He never even said nothing. So somewhere down the line, it sounded like some guilt was happening. So you knew I didn't like it, and you could have still called me privately before today and said, I did, I see you sent me this head on fire emoji. So what's the matter? What didn't you like about it? He had ample, like I said, he had ample opportunity to tell me, just give me some heads up. Nobody else in the world has given me heads up on anything besides Greg. Greg gave me the heads up on what was coming out about me and Reggie. Okay. You did. You're doing some of it, but you're leaving some of it out. Why are you leaving some of it out? I mean, I knew how he even felt about Kevin, so I can't be mad at Greg on how they portrayed Kevin, because no matter what I said to Greg, he had his own thoughts on Kevin Gaines. And that's fine. That's his opinion. That's how he saw it. No, let me tell you that. He didn't see it like that. That's how he read it. Because he's telling me when I'm saying, no, that didn't happen like that, or I don't believe that. He was like, well, Sharitha, it's a report for this. It's a report for that. It's a report for that. Okay, cop. You're exactly right. That's whatever you guys do in the cop world, and that's fine.
All right. We ain't gonna go no more on Greg, because I probably ain't gonna ever be able to get him back on the phone for another interview. But anyway, so let's just leave it alone.
Good.
Let's go on to something else.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna start checking you on your friendship too, Reggie.
Oh shit! Get him, Sharitha. Goddammit, get in his ass. What did Reggie do?
I'm gonna really start doing that on you too. I had the right
hang
to
up
go
on
off.
you? Did I disconnect?
You did. You did not. I got in my car and drove to your house. You disconnected it on me.
Disconnected you at any time.
Oh, I know you. I know you did. But like I said, I'm over Greg Kading. He apologized, and I appreciate the apology. I do. But let me rant when I need to rant, like he was doing.
And did I?
Shut up! You kept interfering. You was interfering.
I had to clear up.
I gotta ask this question, and this is a legitimate question. A family member asked this. He said, "Ask Sharitha, why wasn't she as upset with RJ Bun and J Mix for saying she was involved with Pac's murder as she is about 2-minute scene as the 2-minute scene in Unsolved?"
Because I don't know him. I don't know him. He don't know me. And, first of all, I didn't even take in consideration that something like that would even come out.
She didn't even know who R.J. Bonds was until the last couple of months.
Let me talk.
Well, you weren't saying it.
Okay, go ahead.
I know this.
Let her talk. Let her say something.
I'm just saying, I didn't know him. I did not know him. I was never introduced to him. And I really took too lightly for the conversation that Greg brought to me, that these people had this allegation. They were saying this. And I just looked at Greg. I was like, Greg, please, I ain't thinking about that. I know better than that. That just sounds stupid. Nobody's going to believe that. But I should have thought, well, hell, they believe Suge did it. Why they ain't going to believe I did it? So I should have thought more into it. But sometimes I just don't give thought into stupidity. And that's my answer to that. I don't give thought into stupidity. And that was just stupid to me.
Right, because now Kenneth McLean, this is our good family member, he's a moderator, he said, I genuinely don't think she realized how many fools actually believe RJ's bullshit story about her.
I guess I should have started doing something a long time when, like I said, when Greg brought it to us, and I don't believe in stupidity, and he sounds stupid to me.
Yeah, that theory was so crazy to us because we didn't. When they say little half there, that just made us laugh. And then we thought the information that Anton Beatty did with Greg, because I don't want to introduce Anton and Greg to each other. And I thought that information, that investigative work that they did would have debunked anything that had ever came out. And then it was such a long time that when the Battle for Compton finally came out, that we had forgotten about it. Sharita had went on with her life, doing what she was doing, and I had went on doing my things and started having my own issues. And so we didn't think anything about it until, like I said, we got time on our hands. I had got time on my hands back in November, January, and y'all know what I've been doing since then. And then that's when I even brought Sharita into it. Sharita didn't know how to go on this YouTube stuff and read this until I started talking to her about it. And then that's what got her.
I don't have too much time on my hands.
I didn't say that. I said, all right, but you got into it after I started calling
I did.
You.
And that's fine. And in all fairness, Greg did come back again just here recently before this movie came back. And he said, Sharita, come on, I'm trying to find an attorney for you and, get them. I'm like, I'm still in the, Greg, okay. And then I did tell him, I said, okay, Greg, let me know when you got it all together. I'll be a part of it. Let me know when you got it together. And that was the end of it. And then Greg got involved. With all respect towards Greg, he got involved with his project. So that was irrelevant to him then. But, when a person sits and said don't have anything to do. And see, when I started looking at YouTube and all this stuff, and I'm like, ooh, these people don't have nothing to do. They don't have nothing to do. And those theories that constantly keep coming out, and this RJ Barnes, I'm like, what the heck? What does he have to do with himself all day? Think of, ways to say a theory of something. Where the theory came from. Hold on, let me correct the other theory that I just read today, that Kevin was in Vegas when Tupac got shot.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that one too.
No.
Well, that's from the idiot Michael Carlin.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about none of Michael Carlin stuff.
Yeah,
No, I'm just going to tell everybody. No, he was not there. Now, if you could read between that line, you know why he wasn't there.
Bang, 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 bang,
thank you, Reggie. You're going to put all my business in air. Go right ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, he was bang, 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 bang. Let me shut up.
I didn't say that either, Real. I didn't say that either.
Hey, y'all, let me shut up before she started cussing my ass out. For real. Hey, somebody just said, I love you, Sharita. There's so many I love yous in here, Sharita. Damn, why? Listen, y'all. Reggie and Sharita, I fought the both of you motherfuckers because y'all shut up. Y'all was quiet too goddamn long. And now that the people are waking up and seeing, this shit for what it really is, you got more people that is riding with you guys than are the ones that are riding against you guys.
Well, they're just you gotta have the haters, unless it wouldn't be important anymore, or you wouldn't be relevant. You gotta the haters gotta be there to keep you relevant. So I guess you gotta love the haters too.
Most definitely. But you can. And when you made a comment to say something relating to people don't understand that. This is my image. It is my image. It's who I am. It's who that I'm going to ever be looked at. When people on the street see me and say, oh, that's the girl that did this. That's the girl that did that. So you get that title. And that's what Greg didn't understand that I was trying to say. And everybody else that keeps saying stuff about me don't understand. You get this title. And when I usually tell you something, I'm not exaggerating it. I'm telling you what I know. The timeline might don't add up, but it's the truth of how I see it. And it is my version. Just like it's Real's version and everybody else listening today.
everybody's going to have their own version of something, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with nobody's opinion, and the only thing I regret today is not taking action against R.J. Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so now, because now you said that, now you guys were saying that before Greg got started with his project, he did look into getting you guys a lawyer to go after R.J. Bond legally. Am I right or wrong?
He did all that. He did the investigative work.
He did all that.
He had it all laid out and everything, and that was just us being like, don't care, or like, well,
it's not that we didn't care. I just didn't believe, and I should have believed it because they did it. All the stuff they do to Suge, I should have believed it, and I just didn't believe it, and I didn't have the energy at the time. When Greg came into my life at the time, I was dealing with the death of my aunt, so I didn't have time to think about some stupid stuff. And I mean, I even discussed it with her, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's just stupid. Don't even leave that alone. Leave that alone." And that's all she would ever tell me: leave that stuff alone. Let that stuff be. And that's what I do, because this is what she, I run everything by this woman. I love this woman to death. And when she says leave it alone, I leave it alone. And I left it alone, and I shouldn't have left it alone because I didn't think it was gonna blow up. It was gonna blow up. I can't change people's mind. I came out the closet. Now I have to defend myself. So yes, am I out the closet to defend myself? I am. And whether some people's gonna believe it and some people's not. I can't change that. I can only be who I am. So you're either gonna believe something. Show me the facts where that's even proven. Why? That's all I'm saying.
And the fairness to everything. The only thing that really blew it up, because I'm not going to give Battle for Compton any type of credibility or anything, because they started giving that away real early. And so what messed us up, or what blew it up, is Suge's trying to be funny. And people, we know, see, we can't even get mad at him. I can't get mad at him. And I tell Sharita this all the time. I say, I'm not even mad at the niggas behind there, because I know he's trying to be funny. I know he's trying to be a comedian.
But see, that's because we know him, Reggie.
Yeah,
everybody else don't know that. So when it happened, you got to understand, is this man really going to accuse the mother of his child of something like this, and knowing she's going to call him, or when she sees him, she's going to get mad at him over it? I don't think so. But people don't understand that. Me and Suge had a decent relationship when Suge wasn't around everybody else. One-on-one, Suge and Sharita were absolutely fine with each other. But,
I said that before, that I ain't never had a bad word to this man face to face. I heard all types of stuff behind my back.
Yeah,
but face to face, I ain't never had a bad word. Never.
No, he's not like he is when it's an audience. And that's what people don't know. When he has an audience, he's a different Suge than when you have him. He's social, and he will talk, and he will maybe apologize and, say that was just being funny, or I just did that for that. You knew better than that. Whatever. So people don't know that. And like I said, no matter what comes out in Unsolved about Suge, some people still don't believe he killed Tupac. So it doesn't matter what nobody writes or nobody says. Some people just gonna believe what they believe.
Now here's one thing, Sharitha, and I blame Suge a little bit for this, of when he got on TMZ and a couple other places and said Tupac alive. And I know where Tupac at. He alive, right? And then that made a lot of these people, just get on YouTube. Oh, Suge said Tupac's alive. Oh, and they're still running with that shit to this day. Of Suge Knight said Tupac's alive. And when Suge did that, do you know why he did that, Sharitha? Why did you ask him why he do that? Because the Tupac alive stock went up tenfold after he did that.
That's why he did that. What did you just say went up?
The stock went up tenfold. The Tupac stock went up tenfold on that one.
Exactly. And you just said it. You just named it.
For the money. It was money. Suge is a smart businessman because it's a lot of motherfuckers that still believe Pac was alive, and putting up fake ass videos of the toss it up video scene talking about, look, Tupac he was shot, and he finished the toss it up video after he got out the hospital. I'm like, these are some of the dumbest motherfuckers. Bullet wounds would not be healed that goddamn quick after 7 goddamn days. He ain't Superman. What the fuck is wrong with these people for real? This is, and that all started from, with the Suge saying Tupac was alive shit. But people, you dumb motherfuckers, it was for the money. It was for the money. Stupid motherfuckers. And the people's laughing, and you got some more people saying, we love Sharitha. Sharitha, please call me. Sharitha, I love you. Oh,
now that I've calmed down, people, I do accept Greg's apology. And I feel bad now for ranting off on him and going off on him on the air, but he should have called me. Yeah. Bottom line is he should have called me.
He should have called you.
I do feel bad, Greg. I think your story probably is good, although I didn't watch it. But today, after that, I still got to get over episode 1. I didn't watch it, but I did think his book. I read his book, and I even bought it after he told me he was going to give it to me. He never gave it to me. Greg, I did buy your book. So, I'm all in support of Greg. I really am. I'm all in support of whatever Greg wants to do, and that's Greg, because I think Greg is really generally a nice man.
Okay.
He just got some facts wrong, but it's okay.
Okay, well, he gonna get it right, I guess.
Greg, when they call you tomorrow, next week, please talk to these people.
Nah, we got to get.
I got love for you, Greg. I still got love for you, Greg.
He ain't listening to this. Just text him.
He gonna listen.
He don't listen to this.
Well, no, I'm gonna text him. I am gonna text him, so everybody know I am gonna text him. But I wanted to be on record that I did say this to Greg. I accept your apology, and give me a month to calm down some more, and then I'll be all right.
Yeah. Take a month to calm down, but right now, Sharitha, this is what I want you to do. For Saturday.
What you want me to do?
Saturday, my schedule is clear. I ain't got no paperwork. I ain't got nothing to do. I want to get you Saturday evening sometime, and I want to sit down so you and I can do the little interview thing, and bring that fire. Don't turn that shit. Don't turn that shit off. Don't turn that shit off.
Don't turn it down now.
No.
Oh, goodness.
You know what?
I get embarrassed for my own self sometimes, you guys. I really do. See, this is the nice person. I get embarrassed after. See, tonight I'm not even going to be able to sleep because I'm going to be like, Sharitha, you were on the air just cussing and ranting and raving and acting a fool. And I'm not even going to sleep tonight over what I just did. I'm really not. So for all you guys that don't know me, now you know me, because I will not sleep tonight because now I'm going to feel guilty.
Nah, fuck that, goddammit.
Shut up, Reggie.
Fuck that. Saturday is going down, and I'm going to keep your ass mad. I'm going to go back and I'm going through all the certain YouTubers shit, and I'm going to link that shit, and I'm going to send it to you so you can watch that shit, so you can be pissed off, so you can address all the motherfuckers that address that bullshit. God damn it.
Yeah, that gets me fired up. That do get me fired up. I gotta say, I want to be fired up. I'm a lady. I'm a lady now. I'm a lady. I'm a lady.
Sharitha killed a 9-year relationship in 5 minutes.
Forgive my Suge Jr. personality that comes out sometimes. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen.
I am truly sorry. I feel bad. I do feel bad.
Hey, Sharitha, do you still talk to Suge? Just get a phone conversation from time to time with Suge?
I used to, not since he's been in prison, but yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get phone calls from Suge. We talk, but, Suge, I have to hang up on Suge a lot because he talk crazy, and I got to remind him who he talking to. Who are you talking to?
You know what?
Goodbye.
One of my biggest accomplishments would be, since I done talked to a lot of death row people, if I got Suge Knight on the phone from prison, that will be... I will retire YouTube. I will retire YouTube.
Be getting raided like the last 2 producers did. You're gonna be on the front page of the LA Times like the two lawyers did today.
I will retire. I will retire YouTube after.
You're gonna be in jail like his girlfriend.
I forgot about her.
Oh Lord, you're gonna be in jail over there too. You better watch it.
Listen.
You better watch it. Let me change that. No, I don't talk to Suge. I have no idea.
Listen, yeah, I will hang my crown up. I will hang my king crown up and will retire when I get Suge Knight ass on the phone. If I got Suge Knight on the phone for 5 goddamn minutes, I will retire. Like, goddamn it, it's over.
I'm sure that'd be worked out once he get in the California Department of Correction system. If he goes there, I'm not wishing for that. I
don't think Suge going to jail.
It'll be able to make happen.
I don't think Suge. Listen,
it'll be made.
I don't think Suge going to jail. I think Suge is gonna walk. I honestly think that. I think he's gonna walk. Yeah. I think because look how they playing games with him. Look how they playing games. He's gonna walk. Yeah. He's gonna walk. So
I think he does need. His last. You're kind of scared to give him his last chance because sometimes when you get out, you think you're untouchable, and that's the only thing I'm afraid about. But he don't deserve this. He don't deserve what's going on with him right now. And I think hopefully he told me once he turned 50, he was going to calm down. He wasn't going to be in the limelight. He wasn't going to be at the clubs. He wasn't going to do all this stuff. He told me right before he turned 50, this happened. So he did. We had a talk. I'm like, enough. We're getting old now. Enough is enough. And he was like, I know, huh? I know how. I'm like, yeah. He says, okay, I promise you I'm going to stop when I'm 50. I'm going to stop when I'm 50. So, okay, he's over 50 now. So I'm hoping that he's going to come out with a newfound attitude now and understand that it's a different world now. It's a total different world now.
Goddamn right. Everybody
social media, it's nothing like when we were growing up. It was no social media. So you got to sometimes revamp yourself, and somebody needs to change his image up, and he needs to get with a publicist to help him change his image.
Wow, if social media was around back then in the Death Row days, I think I have every Death Row artist plaque on my wall, hanging on my wall. That's how much that I would have been recognized back then. I honestly believe that, for real.
Yeah.
and but,
well, I'm going to get off the phone unless there's anything else that someone wants me to answer to, because I gotta go back home.
You save that. No, you save this shit for Saturday. You don't say nothing.
Get me in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble.
You don't say
I'm
nothing.
gonna get in trouble for being out.
Listen, you don't say nothing else.
I won't be in trouble. I was at home, and I'm gonna tell you, I was at home, Rail. I was at home. I just subscribed to your show, and I knew you was gonna come on tonight, and I said, let me see. And then when I looked on it, you did that first 11 minutes saying that who was gonna be announced, and I said, I'm gonna give Greg a little bit of time to talk, and then I'm gonna go over to my cousin's house and call this live. So that's exactly what I did. So now I gotta leave.
Goddamn.
I gotta go home. So I was listening. So in all fairness to Greg, I was listening to, now I'm into you, and I do look at it, and I ain't even a YouTube person. I subscribe to your network. I love it. I do love it. Reggie's the popular man now. Now, where Reggie get all this what is it called? This talking. I don't know where you get all this talking from, Reggie. This ain't even Reggie I know. That's all I hear, Reggie.
I'm bored.
Well, shit,
you're
Reggie.
right, Reggie. I forgot about that. You are bored.
Yeah. Well, shit, Reggie. Don't I deserve a little?
Saying, they got me scared to go to L.A.
Don't I deserve? Listen,
got me scared to go down to L.A.
Don't I deserve a little credit for getting you all this love and this popularity? I deserve the credit.
You do. Even the hate, Reg. I even had, Reggie didn't even tell me about the Gonzo thing. I'm not even going to bring that up anymore because you did discuss it, and I listened to that too. The Gonzo thing, and I even text Reggie. I was like, what's wrong with you and Gonzo? What happened? That was my boy. What do you mean? What y'all do? And I listened to him rant on the toilet for an hour. I'm like, are you really ranting like this, Gonzo, for an hour on the toilet?
I forget how much people want to make themselves closer to
Tupac,
to things than they were.
Right. So, but
or
we.
to Tupac, anything.
I don't know where I listened to it though, Reggie. In all fairness, I did listen to him, and he didn't make it seem like he was close to Tupac. He just told where he did know Tupac.
No, that was the rant before that. No, you didn't listen to the ones before that.
Oh,
that was just a rant for me.
That's just too much.
All I said prior to that was this guy named JMX. He got a little YouTube thing. He threw a little jab at Real about anyway. And so I go, hey, go JMX, go interview Gonzo. Because that was the last person he interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
And Gonzo, and so he called Gonzo up and said, "Hey, Reggie, talking about you." And then,
well, you know what, Reggie? Like I tell you, that just makes people. If somebody needs something, you got to have the friction. If you don't have no friction, it's a dead world. It's a dead internet. So sometimes we have to leave some of the friction where it's at, and this is my mistake because you gotta do some of the friction. Like we should have did the RJ Barnes friction, but we didn't. And I am very sorry that I did not correct this 2 years ago when it came to me. I am so sorry, and that's the only regret in my life I have is that one right there. Because,
Oh, no, Greg had it laid out. He had the investigative work done.
He did. God bless him. He did. He did, and he kept telling me, Sharitha, no, it's real. I'm telling you, Sharitha, it's going to. Then I just looked at him, and he can even attest to it. I just went, man, I ain't thinking about that. What else you got going on? Let's talk.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Greg's conversation. And so when I was in LA, we would meet up with each other. We talked about some other stuff, being involved in other projects. And so, yes, I did have a lot of respect for Greg. I just got a little bit of crazy, and, crazy is in my blood. So I'm from Chicago, so you guys got to forgive me sometimes. I'm not the LA girl. I am
That's
the Chicago
what JMX say you
girl.
live. JMX, maybe you know JMX.
I don't know no JMX. But anyway.
It ain't Chicago.
I am a Chicago girl.
Chicago.
I was born there. You guys, in Chicago. So, yes, I did listen to the rant, Reggie, because I just happened to run across of it. And he did clear it up, and he's actually true. Everything he said something about me and something. And I didn't catch it, and it was too much to go backwards and listen to it again. It was just on the toilet. I couldn't get over the toilet part. I'm like,
no, he didn't say nothing about you on the rant. He didn't say nothing bad. I didn't say nothing. I heard my name mentioned about something. I don't know if he said I didn't manage him or I did manage him. I don't know what he said, but he's my boy. He's my boy, and I have caution. I love those young men. They were babies to me at the time. I know you're a grown man now, but, they were babies to me. And I really take pride in every artist that I have, and especially young guys like that. They were just adorable. He forget I saved him from going to jail out there in New Orleans. You remember they were jumping on cars and stuff? And we had to pull them off the cars and shit. They jumping on cars and they riding down Bourbon Street. But anyway.
They kids. They were young men at the time. They were young men. And I know he going to say he's 21 because I heard him say something about I was 21. Okay.
Yeah,
still a baby to me. You still a baby at 21 to me because my daughter's 25 and she a baby. And I tell her that all of that. If you living in my house, you a baby. If I got to take care of you, you a baby. So grown people take care of themselves. So there. And real, call me anytime. Don't be sending me. Don't get me riled up on some stuff because there's some stuff on the internet.
I'm gonna bring that shit.
I stupidly clicked you over, and you said in some more.
You didn't know what I was gonna say.
I
know what I was gonna say.
How he gonna believe that? How he gonna believe that? That was an ambush move. I'll be still cussing me out if I did that to me. I'll still be like, you fat motherfucker.
Hey, no.
You gotta respect Greg because Greg was just really smooth, and I don't like people that really can, that he hold his temper down and he raised it down. I like people to attack at the same time.
He would even attack.
And that's now why I feel bad. I do feel bad. See, people probably don't think I listened to him, and I heard him. I heard everything he said, but he just was laughing. He had his little smirk, and he was laughing about it, and that's fine. And I'm sure I hurt his feelings too, and I apologize for hurting his feelings, but he hurt my feelings first. So. Even Suge might go like this, Sharifa, when I get this way. But, everybody just look at me crazy when I go. Even yesterday in my house, I went off on my daughter, and I feel bad about it. But I said, this time, I ain't kissing her ass. She just, forget her. So she ain't talked to me for 2 days. I don't care. Her birthday tomorrow. I don't care. You can go to school.
She's not talking about Suge. She's not talking about
I'm not talking about Suge. No, I'm talking about my little one. I'm not talking about Suge. I'm not talking about her. She's a prodigy of her mother and father, and sometimes she's a little soft, and I have to get on her because she be like, they said this to me, and I was like this. I said, well, did you really say it? She was like, well, no, I was thinking it. I said, I don't know who child you are. We say it. See, that's our problem. She needs to be around her father a little bit more. She'll start talking.
Well, we're going to do I can't wait to Saturday. It's going on, Riggs. You make sure you get her the right information so we can
Well, y'all going to be friends on Facebook, so y'all
can
that's
what I'm saying,
message each other's numbers.
Oh, you know what? Somebody named Real friend me. Who was? I don't know who it was.
It wasn't me. See, I'm in Facebook jail under my name for the podcast and everything. But
and Real, I gotta go because look, this person said their name was Real something. I don't know. I screenshotted it and sent it to Reggie and said, "Who is this?" But I knew it wasn't you because. I said, whoever this is shouldn't have been friend requesting me in the first place because in their background picture, it had Michelle A. in it, and I just died laughing.
Oh, no, that wasn't
died laughing. I said, I know you
I said he would not send that to you.
I know damn well you're not trying to friend request me with this.
No.
You cannot be, but...
Oh, no. Nah. Hey, Reggie put you on my name, the one to follow.
I gave it to her. She got it.
Okay, good deal. And we will.
Yeah, he did. But, call me. I'm here. I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
You could call me. I can't guarantee the rent anymore because I feel like a ghetto chick, and I don't know if I can do it.
I'm gonna find
something. Well,
something.
then again, let me not lie. You might.
I'm gonna find something. Goddammit, I'm gonna
There
find something.
you go.
It's easy.
Shut up, Reggie. It's easy to fire her. She gets fired up quick. I go 0 to 100 real quick.
Hey,
I get hung up on all the time.
Hey, we gonna find something.
Good night.
Good night, Sharitha. You have a good night.
Good night. Good night, guys.
And
all right, take care.
Good night to you
bye-bye.
too. Good night to you, my brother too. I'm finna wrap this up, and I'm gonna call you in a minute, Rex.
Okay.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, man. Later. Who did it? Yeah, I did it again. Goddammit. I did it again. It gets no greater. It gets no greater than this. It gets no motherfucking greater than this. It gets no greater. What more do I got to prove to anybody? Nothing. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. This shit is classic. Goddamn right. What up, Maddie612? I fucks with you. I see the love. I see the love. I see it. I see it. What's up, Kenneth McClain? Hey, I seen you, Kenneth. You and D blocking this motherfucker, holding it down and getting rid of these clowns. 7 Mile Rook, what up, nigga? Where you at? God damn, where you been, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. But listen, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in for this hour and 57 minutes. I was not trying to make it that long. I was only trying to make it 1 hour because, D Block like, yo, Real, come on, man. We got to cut that down to an hour, man. We can't go over an hour. We can't do that. What up, Greg? Baltimore Greg? I ain't seen you in a minute either. But y'all, Big Mike, I see you, my nigga. I see you, Big Mike. I see all of you. I see you, Jerome Bailey. I see you, Bo Neal TV. I see you. I see you, AJ. I see all of y'all. It's all good. Valentine Outlaw, I see you. John Trey, my nigga, what's up? What's up, Josh King, you good? Hey, Team Tupac, I see you. DeMarcus Ward, I see you. Shout out to all y'all. Rolex Enterprise, I see you too. Peace and love, fam. I'm up out of here. And hey, I told y'all I'm always working. When y'all don't see me, I'm working still. Peace and love, family. I'm out of here.